What's up, YouTube? It's JackalGoldKick, and in this video, I'm going to be doing a review for One Punch Man Season 1, the anime. It's been a long time since I watched anime. It's been since like 2021. I just got into other things, but ever since watching Dragon Ball Super Superhero, I've kind of been into watching anime again, and I decided to check out One Punch Man because I've heard a lot of good things about this show, and this is one of the newer animes. It's pretty popular. And I gotta say, after watching the first season on Hulu, I really enjoyed this. This was great. This is definitely one of the best animes I've seen in a long time. This was really good. I had a very fun time watching this season. I think this show definitely deserves the praise it gets, definitely deserves success it gets. I really had a blast watching the first season. What I liked about this anime is that it was very entertaining. It was fast paced. I felt like it had a lot of action in it. There was a lot of fight scenes. There wasn't a lot of BS filler or slow down or moments of just boredom. It felt like it had a very fast pace and it was just very entertaining to watch. And I like how it was a parody of superhero stuff, especially shown in anime. I like how it was this perspective of a hero, Satsuma, the main character we follow, who basically is just he's too powerful that at times he's frustrated with how he just defeats everything with one punch. And I will admit I had a pretty ignorant perspective before I watched this show. I was like, a show where a guy just defeats everything with one punch, how can that be entertaining? But I was, I ate crow with that because this was awesome. I really enjoyed this a lot. And it's interesting to follow him and see, like, from the perspective of somebody that's just too powerful. And one of the things I think is really strong about this anime is the fact that it's not that long of a season. I actually think a lot of times a TV show and just a series in general, whether it's a TV show or an anime, I feel like they're a lot better when they're shorter because I feel like you get the most quality. A lot of animes out there I've noticed that I have seen that I have liked when they're very long, there's tons of seasons, there's so many episodes. I feel like that's when you start to get filler. Sometimes filler can be good, but sometimes it can be bad. And I feel like you start to get, you know, there's filler, things get dragged out, and it just goes on for a very long time. Whereas I feel like with shorter shows like this, I feel like you have more quality there. From the animation to the voice acting to the action scenes. It just feels like there was quality put into everything in this show for this season one. And I feel like it really benefited just having 12 episodes where it didn't overstay its welcome, but I feel like it had a lot to offer there. I like that each episode was, I think, like 20 something or 30 minutes. It really had a lot of quality to it, I really felt like. And basically, I like the concept of the show where we follow this guy who we see through a flashback episode, he fights this lobster type enemy when he had hair. And from there on out, when he defeated him, he trained every day to become a hero. And his whole thing is want to be a hero for fun. And, there's a lot of humor in this show. It is a comedy type show. And I think a lot of the comedy in this anime does work. A lot of it can be pretty funny, like some of the stuff with his partner and his friend Gino, who is a cyborg, who is definitely one of the coolest characters in this anime. Is definitely between him and the main character, I would say he may be my favorite character from this show. I really like his character a lot. There was some good comedy there with, you know, there's this whole thing in the season and show where there's a hero program where a lot of people that are heroes they join and there's classes. There's class C, B, A, and S, and there's a lot of heroes in this. It kind of reminded me of like the Shield or whatever they're called in Marvel, where they have the Avengers. It kind of reminded me of that a little bit, and it has some interesting stuff where Gino gets shot all the way to the top, and a lot of it is people are talking about his looks and stuff like that, and some of the fan mail he gets, and some of the stuff with that, and the interaction with him and the main character was funny. Some good comedy bits of like a lot of the villains that Satomo faces and him just taking them out instantly, their reaction to him just kind of like he has kind of like this very just nonchalant, just kind of you know, going with the flow type posture and just kind of there, not really having a lot of emotion to him, just kind of there and just ready for it and just take people out one punch, that kind of thing. And a lot of the interactions and reactions from villains and those villains he fights can be fun. So I think the comedy really works really well. I like the comedy in a lot of the episodes. I liked the fight scenes a lot. There's a lot of good fight scenes, a lot of good action in this series. and some cool nods to other stuff from anime. Like the first episode's pretty cool because you have like this purple creature that's causing havoc and going after people, and he looks very similar to Piccolo, which was intended, and basically Purple Piccolo. And he's voiced by the same voice actor as Piccolo, which is pretty cool. And you see the main character take him out with one punch, and that's one of the main things about the show is each villain he fights, his whole thing is he can just take everything out with one punch, and he can't be hurt or attacked by anything. He's like the most overpowered character I've seen in an anime show. He has no weaknesses. He can't be hurt. He can't be killed. He can't be phased at all, and he's just a man, and he can take everything out with one punch. It's really interesting and cool, honestly. So the action stuff with that thing was really cool. Then you have other villains he faces, like there's this group of bald guys who's tired of having to slave away at jobs and for pay, so they rise in rebellion and they have an interaction with a ninja. Ninja wasn't a bad character. I didn't mind the ninja. Pretty much kind of like a villain, but had a lot of wanted to fight the main character a lot because of how powerful that they saw the main character was. You see them fight these bald guys, tears them up. Then the main leader, the Hammerhead, he ends up fighting Satomu, and Satomu ends up beating him up, but he doesn't get killed. Like two or three different times, this guy gets like hit in the head, but doesn't die fully because he had like a thick skull. And he eventually just stops the fighting and villainy stuff because of what happened. Then you get some back and forth with the main character and with the ninja character, and they have kind of a little bit of a rival thing, but main Satomu ends up, beating up and, just beating the ninja in a fight. And then you have a lot of other cool villains in the season that you get to see. Like one of the highlights was the Fish King, the leader of the sea. He was this Fish King, very powerful. You see him fight a lot of these heroes. He's taking them out left and right, and a lot of the heroes try to fight him. And Gino, the cyborg, tries to fight him a lot, and he eventually almost dies by him. And he can get more powerful, especially when the water comes in. He has a pretty cool design. He's wiping people out. He also had some minions of his that were wiped out as well by some of the heroes. And Satomoan eventually ends up taking this guy out. He was pretty cool. I thought he was definitely a really cool villain in the series. I think this anime also has a lot of really cool characters I want to talk about as well. The main character, Satsumo, I think he's a pretty cool character. I like him. He's a very refreshing character in anime, in my opinion, because he's overpowered and he can defeat everything in one punch, and he can't be defeated or phased at all. He's like very overpowered, but at the same time, it bums him out. There's some comedy in that with him being able to take out everything in one punch. I like his design. It's nice to see a different type of anime looking main character where he's bald. He doesn't look like a typical anime main character, which is cool. I like his design. He has like a superhero type outfit to symbolize like the superhero type stuff. I thought he was a pretty cool character. I liked his action scenes. I liked the voice actor for him. I think the animation on him was done really well. And he's just an awesome character. I enjoy a lot of the stuff with him. I think some of the other characters, like Gino, is really cool. I really like Gino. He's one of the best characters in this anime, in my opinion. He's a really cool cyborg. He has a cool design. He has cool voice actor. I like his back and forth with the main character. He's basically like his sidekick, and his basically his protege, and he wants to learn from him. And they have really good chemistry. You really buy them as buddies. Satomo and Gino, they have really good chemistry together, and they're really cool characters. And I really like Gino. He's cool. I like his back and forth with the one guy he meets when he joins the Hero Foundation. He's somebody in Class A that's kind of a celebrity Hollywood star on the TV, makes music, and is a model, but he's also one of the heroes. He's in the show here and there, but I have a feeling he'll probably play a bigger role in season two, which I will eventually check out season two. He has an interaction with Gino, and we see Gino talk to him, and basically, that stuff is interesting. His backstory with what happened to him being created. We get to see a bit of him getting his parts repaired and some new parts put on by his creator. And then we see him trying to look for the cyborg, and he's told about one of the cyborg, this metal guy that's evil, and he should be checked out for. He should look out for him, basically. That's what one of the heroes tells him. So he's a pretty cool character. Then we have a whole bunch of other characters as well that are in the heroes. We have this old guy named Silver Fang. I think he's pretty cool. I think he was one of the coolest heroes. Just, the old guy that's very knowledgeable, very powerful. He had like this cool move that he would do. I liked him. I thought he had a really cool voice actor. Now, one character, this is probably one of the only critiques I could think of for the show if I had to think of something to complain about. I thought Tornado was easily the worst character in the season. Thankfully, you don't see a whole bunch of her, but I do think she was very annoying. I don't know what it is with like me personally with some anime, I've never found have a female character that's powerful and very bitchy. I've never seen the point of that, the appeal of that, and I don't see the humor in that. To me, it just gets on my fucking nerves. So I didn't care for Tornado. I thought she was the worst character. She was just always bitchy and always treating everybody like shit. She was kind of like a female Green Lantern. She had psychic powers. She had some cool powers and cool design, but she was just bitchy and oh, a bitch to everyone. I just couldn't stand her. I honestly wish there was a way that they could have wrote some of the storyline where Satomo just punches her once and gets rid of her because she was fucking annoying. Probably the only thing I can think of that I had an issue with, but thankfully you don't see her in every single episode. I wish anime wouldn't always do this with strong female characters like her because she's just fucking annoying, honestly. I couldn't stand her. But some of the other characters are pretty cool. Like you have the swordsman guy with the katana. He was pretty cool. You have this other guy who's an ally of his with the sword. You have other various heroes you see in the show. You have one who is like Moon Knight or Moon Man, something like that. He has a bike. He's not one of the strongest heroes, but he does the best he can, going up against the Fish King, trying to save the civilians later on. And then you have who are some other characters you have? You have this one guy. There's a ton of characters, but I think a lot of the characters are really strong. A lot of the villains are really cool. A lot of the villains you get to see. One of the coolest villains in the season is definitely the final guy, who was told he's like an alien, super powerful being who can regenerate. He has some similarities to the whole Saiyan thing from Dragon Ball, so it's another nod to Dragon Ball where he has like this long hair and he become really powerful and he can, power up and stuff like that. And he was the most powerful being of his where he came from, the galaxy and space, pretty much. And he was told that in 20 years you'll be able to face somebody on your level because he was getting bored with how he was the most powerful and nobody could challenge him. And he ends up going against Satomo and facing him one on one. And you get some really good action there in the final episode, some action back and forth with him and Satomo, some good fight scenes. He had a really cool design. I liked his voice actor. He had really cool powers. And I thought he was awesome. And I thought the fight scene and stuff like that was really cool. The finale of this anime reminded me a lot of Akame ga Kill. Not as depressing as an anime as that one, but the ending of Akame ga Kill, it was also on a ship and the city was being destroyed and it's a little similar. Kind of reminds me of Akame ga Kill's finale, but that was really cool. You have other villains in the show. Like you have the ninja guy. He's pretty cool. I imagine he'll probably play more of a role in season 2 when I get to season 2. And then you have like some other ones that are just like regular people, like two of them at one episode is One Punch. There's this meteor that's coming towards Earth, and Gino tries to stop it but can't. Feng tries to help out, I think, or he's just there to yeah, he tries to help out from what I remember. And then there's this robot that tries to help out, and then Satomo ends up coming up and just punching the meteorite and destroying it, and then it goes into pieces all around the place and causing collateral damage pretty much. And then he's boosted all the way up to Class C level 1. But even though he's Class C level 1, he's more powerful than anybody in the hero category. I mean, if he had to fight any of those heroes, he would annihilate all of them because he's the most powerful being. So even though he's Class C, he's the most powerful, period. And he's like Class C level 1. He's raised up to that, and you get an episode where he's being chewed out by the civilians because they're being tricked by these other two heroes that are, they don't like his spot and they don't agree with him being at that spot, and they're trying to make him look bad, basically. And I thought the music in this anime was really good as well. I liked a lot of the music in this show. Some really good music that I liked in here. Good voice actors. A lot of people I recognize, like especially the voice actor for Gohan. I also recognize Lubu's voice actor, Jameson Price. He was in this. He voiced like one of the characters, and he voiced like a T Rex. You've seen a little bit in one of the episodes. And so, yeah, I like the music. The animation was good. And I thought the story of the season was really good. I liked the story, some cool parts in the story, like, the beginning with the purple looking Piccolo type thing that Satomo goes after. Then you have this storyline with this doctor or the scientist that wants to, experiment and evolve humanity. And you get a backstory on him. He sends some people after the main character because he wants to test him out and experiment on him. So he sends things out to him, and he gets some good action and pieces with that, where the main character is basically taking them out, and they're getting scared. And one of them's like a lion type thing. He gets messed up, and this gorilla robot gets half destroyed but doesn't die. And he tells him information because he doesn't want to get killed by the main character. And you get some backstory in that scientist and him wanting to evolve things. And eventually Satomo and Gino go to the guy's main base. They destroy the building, and they end up going after him, and they end up fighting this creature. I can't exactly remember his name, something Carnage. And he's there for a while, powers up, and eventually Satomo takes him out. And the main thing Satomo's mad about is not being able to get to the supermarket because it was on sale, basically. And I just like the nonchalantness and just kind of the sort of lack of a lot of emotions for the main character with how he handles certain villains and his reaction to certain things, like somebody getting powerful or trying to phase him or fighting. He's just like cool, or you're tough, and things like that. And I think it's pretty cool. And I think a lot of the story I did like in this season. I thought a lot of the story was cool. Seeing more of the Hero Foundation, some of the people that own that, their interaction with some of the heroes, some more scenes with the one guy that is in Class A. Yeah, I like the story of this show. The stuff with the scientist that's wanting to make stuff and experiment on stuff is pretty cool. And he has like clones that he makes of himself. And then some other parts of the story, you have like you see certain other heroes show up. Like there's this one creature that shows up in the city where Satomo lives. It's like this black looking thing with like sort of like hair extension. Or it's like hair, legs and arms things, and these two heroes try to take him out. One of them has like a mustache, one of them has like a kind of like a bomber jacket. I think they try to take him out, and they both get killed. So you get to see, some of the other heroes and other people dealing with villains. And I think Gino, like I said, Gino is definitely a character I really liked, and I like seeing him in the show. So I liked the story in a lot of this season, and I did enjoy the story that was there. And a lot of good humor there as well. Cool stuff like the main when they sign up for the Hero Foundation, because one of the things that bothers the main character that he realizes, Satomo, when he meets the ninja, is that nobody knows who I am. That bothered him. So because he's like, I'm very powerful and I took out a lot of these villains, but nobody still even knows who I am. So Gino ends up having them sign up to this Hero Foundation thing, and they go there and pass a test. And Sa- uh, Saitama, aka One Punch Man, he takes everything out. Like basically, the fitness test, he aces everything and basically wins everything and exceeds the charts, but it's still like Class C. So that stuff's cool. And then some other stuff that's cool in this show, you have like you have other heroes that you see as well. And I'm doing the best I can to remember everything. I'm not gonna be able to talk about every single thing because I'm reviewing the entire season. It'd be a bit different if I was reviewing like each individual episode. But you have some other stuff like when they're on when you near the end of the show, they're being briefed in a meeting. They're briefing the top class S heroes and Satomo's, and they're like, "Look, this fortune teller that told us that there were certain things that would happen was right, and a lot of them. She ended up dying, choking on something, but she said there was something bad showing up, and that's when a ship shows up with a bunch of aliens, and the heroes try to deal with that. And they're dealing with this one person who's a pretty cool bad guy. They fight, you can constantly regenerate, but they find out the weakness is a marble they have that they have to crush. So you have the main elite heroes trying to deal with this creature, which is basically you have Fang dealing with them, you have the swordsman dealing with them, and you have a tornado there, but she's kind of doing more damage to the ship. They have some cool moments. You get Fang going against the one villain, and then the others dealing with him, and then you think Fang's dead, but he comes back and crushes the one of the marbles. So cool stuff there. Satsuma going through the ship and just one punching everything and taking out the octopus who was like controlling the ship, and then the other members of the ship get out of there and abandoning ship. and the ship getting damaged, and then the showdown you have with Satomo and the leader. I can't fully remember his name, but that stuff was really awesome. Now, I guess this is another critique I could think of. It seemed like they didn't really give Gino anything to do on the last two episodes. Like, he's there, but he has nothing to do. So I guess that's another critique I could bring up is that it's cool we get to see other characters like Fang, Silver Fang, and others get like screen time, but Gino had nothing to do over the last two episodes. He just kind of sat outside the ship, and he didn't get to do a whole lot. He didn't get to really fight anybody, which I think is kind of a shame. They kind of wasted him. They should have did a lot more with him. I don't get why he just kind of stood there and didn't do anything. So that is another critique I can think of. It was kind of strange to me how this final battle and finale of the series and they don't really give him anything to do. It was kind of odd. Some other cool stuff in the season that I can think of is just seeing some everyday average life stuff that can be fun, like when they're not fighting, main character living at his place, interacting with Gino, them talking at a one food place, doing like this contest where this is one of the things Sasimo doesn't beat, which is trying to eat a bunch of food and get sick, but Gino can't. That's one of the things he beats Sasimo at, which is the food thing. That's, some cool, fun stuff. And it's like, even the stuff that isn't necessarily them fighting or taking out villains was entertaining. And there wasn't a whole lot of it either. And some other stuff I could talk about in the season that I liked that was stuff I ain't covered yet. You have interesting interaction with Silver Fang and Gino when the meteorite showing up saying, look, none of us can take this thing down. We got to evacuate and get out of here. And Satomo eventually taking that thing out. And then you have the Hero Foundation try. When the Sea King he shows up and is taking people out. You have them trying to maneuver heroes to go after him, and they end up interacting with the main character and saying they're doubtful of him. There's a lot of doubtness and basically underestimating of the main character in some aspects of the story, and then he ends up just blowing everyone's minds, but just constantly taking everything out with one punch. And a lot of the villains he fought, it was just interesting to see. A lot of the episodes, a lot of the villains he fought and taking things out with one punch, basically, that was entertaining. And, I liked a lot of the action that Gino had, a lot of the things he got to do. I would say the strongest, like if I had to pick my favorite characters from the show so far and favorite season, or favorite characters from the season, it would definitely be Gino. I would say he's my favorite character, or maybe him and Satsuma are equal. It's hard to say because I like both of them. But Satomo and Gino, I like them a lot. I think they're really cool characters. Definitely very likable. Definitely favorite characters and cool to follow. Then if I had to pick other characters, the final villain was cool. He's another favorite character, I would say. Fang was really cool. Fang would be my favorite out of the heroes, for just excluding like the main characters. He was like my favorite because he was just cool, badass old man that had knowledge and had a dojo. You even get some cool stuff with him where he's at his dojo talking to the main characters and his students kind of get mad at them because of some of the references that the main character says. Like he's just kind of blunt with the things like old man, calls him old man, and things like that. It's kind of fun. You get an interesting backstory where he says, I was training somebody and they got really powerful, but I had to take them out myself because they were starting to injure the other students. So that stuff is cool. And yeah, this was a really good anime. Like for those that haven't seen One Punch Man, definitely check out the first season. I really enjoyed One Punch Man season one. I thought the animation was good. I thought the action was good. I thought the voice actors they had were really good. I like the fight scenes, I like the action, I like the pretty much fast pace of the season, I like the story that was there. A lot of the villains they fought were cool. A lot of the designs of the villains were cool. I like the music, and I just like how short the season was because it felt like it had a lot of quality to it. I just really enjoyed it overall, and I was hooked. I was watching every single episode, next or next or next, wanting to see what exactly happens next, and just really liking it. As for the intro and outro of the anime with each episode, I mean, they looked cool, but I guess I would say I wasn't the biggest fan of the music that was used in the intro and outro of it. Eh, you know? And then, the only criticism I could think of, issues I had, like I said, Tornado was an annoying ass character. Gino was wasted in the last two episodes. I wish they would have gave him more to do. And that's really kind of the only criticisms I can think of. Other than that, I really enjoyed it, and I look forward to checking out season two. Now, I've heard a lot of things about season two, but I'm gonna still see what I think of it. But this was a really good season. I really enjoyed it, and yeah, I liked it overall and thought it was really solid. And this was damn good. Really good show, and this was awesome. So, yeah, that's all I can really think of saying in this review of season one. Only seen it once, can't remember every single little detail about all the episodes, but that's it. That's basically it summed up about season one and what I thought of it. Let me know what you thought of this show and the season in the comments below. And that's it for this video. Peace out.